This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
There you go. Well, the television taping concluded with a match featuring you and Luger versus Ronnie Garvin and Nikita. Only 9 minutes of the match was aired, and the show actually went off the air before the match was over. But, Arn, this is a ton of talent in one ring, and the visual of all the championships makes it even more significant. What are your thoughts on these sort of matches featuring all the major champions? It's all the title holders in the ring together.
Well, it just beat you over the head. The fact that what we said was going to happen happened. You know, and having us all in there grouped, we had all the bragging rights, and it just put metal in what we said. When we said something on a promo, it happened.
Well, Arn, the table has been set now for the rest of the month. We're going to take a closer look at what you and the Horsemen were doing during October of 1987. And on the first, as newly crowned tag champions, you and Tully participate in a double main event at the Dorton Arena in Raleigh. In the first match, you defeated Jimmy Garvin in a steel cage match. Tully, however, would lose his cage match to Robert Gibson. And then we move on to the following day, October 2nd, at the Richmond Coliseum in front of 3,000 people. You and Tully, once again, man, you guys love the steel cages. You're main eventing in a steel cage match, this time against both members of the Rock and Roll Express, and this time with the NWA Tag Team titles at stake. You and Tully pick up the win, and Morton, who's still selling that injury, was pinned. And we move on. We're going to continue on through some of these results here. There was a television taping on the morning of October 3rd for the UWF. And of note, the challenge you and Tully laid down to the Rock and Roll for a cage match in Greensboro that aired as part of this taping, I think you'll remember that one, Arn. That's the clip that we watched where JJ dove at Ricky Morton's ankle like he was Kurt Angle at the 96 Olympics. You remember that one, right?
It was flawless. I wanted to make sure we got that on this show more than once. It was as smooth as silk. I showed that to Brock, my son, the other day, and he went, damn, that was good.
It was, and it made social media, and I rewatched it again, even though you and I watched it together, because it's awesome. And he was all out. J.J. Dillon was all in, helping you guys out, whether it was in a suit and tie or not. And those wild loafers, he was diving in and getting his hands dirty. So you got to appreciate that about J.J.
Perfect single leg. All amateurs. You can appreciate that.
That's right. Made Kurt Angle jealous. So World Championship Wrestling was also recorded the morning of October 3rd. In the show, it's announced that Starrcade, here we go, will take place in Chicago. And the Road Warriors cut a promo calling out you and Tully, challenging the Horsemen for the titles at Starrcade. We want to note that this is the build we will be seeing on television. It makes sense. The Road Warriors called Chicago home. Just when you thought you and Tully had gotten away from Hawk and Animal, here it is all over again. Hawk and Animal in Chicago. Arn, do you remember if the tag titles were taking off of Rock and Roll, knowing the Road Warriors and Horsemen were going to be a featured bout at Chi-Town Heat?
No, I just think that it would have still been a feature match without the titles up. It was just time. It was time for all the promises that Tully and I had made, especially me, about becoming a champion. You know, we had made a lot of promises, and it was time to pay it off.
Time to deliver. Well, after the interview and your first television defense, you and Tully defended the NWA Tag Team titles against Mike Force and Tommy Angel. This match goes a little more than 5 minutes, but as expected, the Horsemen defend their newly won titles with ease, and we have the conclusion of that match here. Let's check it out.
I was getting ready to say, Tommy Angel really needs a tag. Mike Force needs to do a little bit more than that, obviously.
He did. He just got crushed. Arn says, finish him off. Tully, elbow in the back. Pulls him up by the hair. Hooks him. You know what he's going to do. Slingshot suplex over. Pound down. For the pin, yes. The World Tag Team Champions, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. ACJJ say now is the time.
I love that move, the slingshot suplex.
Smooth.
Slingshot suplex. And puts him down for the pin. Your winners, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson.
The symbol of the Four Horsemen would...
There we go. And you know what? That's a move that I wish that folks would try to incorporate. At least some wrestler would try to incorporate back into their moveset. It's just everybody can do a suplex, but that slingshot, it was just that unique touch that made it special.
That's why they don't, because it is difficult. And if you don't land the proper part of the legs on that top rope to get your momentum,
To get that bounce.
Yep. If you go too low or too high, it doesn't look like that. And I think guys know it. And I think it's pretty smart they don't try to emulate it, because when it looks great, it looks great. When it looks bad, it looks bad.
Well, I think that you cleared the record right there for me, Arn. I never really thought about it, but you're right. As far as the technique of it, and Tully had it perfected, man. He delivered it perfect every time, at least that we saw on TV.
He never missed one.
Okay, I got to ask. This is the fashionista part of our show. You're wearing red trunks, yellow boots. Not always your go-to combination, Arn, but it looks like you and Tully, you're trying to get on the coordinated look. But from your point of view, do the outfits, the boots, the trunks, the jackets, does everything have to start matching at this point? Are you guys talking about that?
Not really. Because we didn't come in and we weren't built as a team, and day one we weren't a team. We were two individuals that tagged together. And I think that's what made the Horsemen special. We were all individuals and we all brought something different to the table. So as far as matching, I don't think it was ever even a conversation.
Do you think that if, as you establish yourself as a tag team, or maybe there's young tag teams that are listening that are saying, hey, we're all in as a tag team, do you think that's important to have that dress like a team concept as opposed to individuals?
I think if you were brought in and introduced as a team, you should dress like a team.
There you go.
And if you're put together by circumstances, I don't think it's as important, but you could, if you're going to be together and be successful, it could morph into that.
Yeah.
You know.
If it turns into more of a long-term plan, then yeah.
And your success, and you guys feel like you're two guys thinking like a single unit, and that's your explanation, then you should look like a single unit.
There you go. Well, later that evening at the Charlotte Coliseum, the Horsemen defended the titles against the Rock and Roll Express in another steel cage match for the main event of the show. This match, by the way, Arn, followed a world title defense by Ronnie Garvin, who defeated Ivan Koloff. Once again, though, it's Double A and Tully coming out victorious. I mentioned that match placement because Garvin, as the new champion, is not the main event. Do you think that this was a conscious decision because the Horsemen were so over in Charlotte?
No, it's a logistics thing.
Okay.
If you put us on before, you had to stop the show, assemble the cage, then when the match was over, take it back down, and then do your main event, versus let all the matches be done. Now your final matches, you just have to put up the cage and you can finish. When it's over with, the audience can leave and you can tear down. It doesn't cut into your showtime, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense. This is way before the days they could construct the cage above the ring for the entire show and then lower it and raise it whenever they felt like it.
Yes, it was pre that.
Yes.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.